I'm going to continue looking through all the cards that I want to pull into a Muldrotha build. I've gone into a much broader selection than I did in the first build that I did of this fantastic commander. So now I'm going to go through the 3 drops. I've already gone through the 1 drops and the 2 drops, creatures that is. And I've got a pile of creatures that I'm going to be looking at for a second pass. And I also have a good batch of creatures that I've already picked. Although we'll see how as we get into the other creatures, whether we'll be even able to dig into the ones that we rejected first time. So I'm going to need mana to drop Muldrotha. It's a 6 drop. And so I'm going to have to be on 3 colors, but also have 3 additional mana. I think this card is very good for helping me boost my way to Muldrotha, so I think it's a keeper. In the case of this card, I'm not really on counters. This is not an offensive build, and I'm not a merfolk. It's a good card, but I'm going to pass on it for now. Now, it's nice to have reach. I'd rather have flying, but you know, if it's on green-black, deals damage to a creature, put a -1/-1 counter, and it does the 1 life gain lose. I'll leave it for another pass. The heart, I can sack it and get 2 basic land cards, and I really want to be able to ramp. So incredibly enough, there are what I would think are better cards that I've passed up, but I would want this because I really want to ramp. Now this guy, I've played him a lot when it was in standard. Your enchantment creatures, some I will pass on, but some I will not. And this one is one that I don't think I want to pass on. Okay? Because I will have enough enchantments that it'll be able to cause each opponent to lose 1 life. So I'm going to say yes to that one. This guy is a 3/4/1. It's not that great. It's only great because it's an enchantment creature, so I'm going to pass on it. This guy is fantastic. He's got flash. He's got the package, so I want him in. I also want this one in, one of the gods from Journey into Nyx. I pulled another one recently, but this is actually one from my old selection. It's going to give me tokens. It's an enchantment creature. It's indestructible. It's got a lot going. This one can be returned from my graveyard to my hand. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. So things that can be returned from the graveyard to my hand, I'm going to want. And things that have delirium, well, that's interesting. If there are 4 or more card types in your graveyard, creatures with power 2 or less can't block this turn. I like that. I'm going to keep it. When this guy dies, you draw a card. That's very good, but I'm going to pass. Discard a card for black, tap it. Each player loses 2 life. It's a common, incredibly enough. But in Commander, man, each player, if you're playing 3 other people, you're dinging for a lot. It's good. I'm going to pass on it, but it's good. Bontu is good. I can sack in here. I do have sack outlets that I do have. Cards that are generating tokens that I can sack. So I'm going to say yes to Bontu. This one creates a token. That's nice, but I'm going to pass on it for now. This one you can cycle, and it's got Death Touch, but I'm going to pass on it too because I'm being extremely picky with such a large selection. This one cannot be countered, and your creature spells that you control cannot be countered, so I want it. And this one, when it enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact. And artifacts your opponent's control enter the battlefield tapped. I really like it, and I want it. This card, for 1 green, I can add 1 mana of any color. That's good, but I already have a lot of mana stabilization in the deck. I mean, Reclamation Sage does not need discussing. It's in. The Sapperling dude, creates tokens for 4, and yeah, whenever a sapling you control dies, deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. It's good, but I'm going to pass on it for now. Rona is good, and it's got the, you know, it's going to build up cards that you can cast later. I'm going to pass on it for now, but it's a really good card in my opinion. Kefnet I'm going to keep. I have draw engines in this deck, so I'm going to keep them. The Emit, all you need to do is put a -1/-1 counter on target creature you control, and you get a 3/4/3 life linker. That's good, but I'm going to pass on it for now. Then in the case of the Punisher, you'll put a -1/-1 counter on a creature you control. I mean, I'm sorry, on target creature. It's not creature you control. So that's good. And then if you sack this, you can destroy target creature that has a -1/-1 counter on it. That's pretty good. I'm going to pass on it for now, but that's pretty good. Again, I have a really large selection, so I have to be extremely picky. This Amid is going in. It's got a Afflict 3, which is fantastic. Yeah, and when it deals damage, you clean up all the tokens. So the downside gets cleaned up when it attacks. Yeah. If any of you have played Magic long enough, you know that this one has to go in. Okay, so that's a lot of cards, friends. That happens to be 8, 12, 14 3-drops. That's a lot. I'm already pretty full. I don't think I'm going to get to the maybe pile at all. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm already at 32. So I got to pick 8 from these other piles, and then I'll be done with creatures. Interesting. That's what happens when you go wide in your pile. Now this card is very interesting because if I have 3 different types of lands in my that I'm playing, okay, that I control, it's going to be a 4/3/3. But if I have like 5, it'll be a 4/5/5. But I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to say no to this card in this pass. Now is the Treasure Keeper a keeper? Let's look at it. Reveal cards from the top of your library. Non-line card, CMC 3 or less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. Bottom of your library. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It's a good second pass. Legendaries are historic, although I'm not on historic in here. Sack 2 creatures, recover a creature from the graveyard. I'm going to pass on it for now. I'm not on an enchantment theme, but this guy can draw me cards whenever I cast an enchantment, so I'm going to say yes. The Demon, put the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard. Now it's going to hit you for 4 if you don't have Delirium. It's pretty steep. I'm going to leave him for a second pass, even though he looks fantastic. Destroy target creature when it enters the battlefield as a 4/2/2. That's good, but I'm going to have instants and sorceries to do that. When it attacks, you may put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. When it dies, pull all land cards from your graveyard onto the battlefield tap. I'm going to keep them. This one, you may search your library for an equipment or vehicle. A nice tutor. I like it. I'll keep it. Enters the battlefield, put top 4 cards from the limited chaff pool of Eldritch Moon. I'm going to pass on it, but it's a good card. May return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. I'm going to pass on it, but it's a good card. Sack a creature, draw a card for 2. I'm actually going to keep it because I think I'm going to be generating enough low low power tokens to be able to do that. Then the Reaper, it can gain death touch or hexproof, so it protects itself pretty well. And you can do a lot of scrying, which means that you can dig into your deck, so that's very good, I think. Okay, so we said we needed 8. We already got 5. Okay, so then the Plunderers get +1/+1 for each artifact you control, but we're not on artifacts. And it can create treasure tokens. I'll pass on it, but it's a good card. Okay. This one's a keeper. It draws cards whenever you play a land. So I'm going to keep it. Then the Decimator Beetle. You're going to have to put a -1/-1 counter on one of your creatures when this enters. But when it attacks, you can remove one of your -1/-1 counters and put it on up to 1 target creature the defending player controls. That's pretty good. I'm going to pass on it for now because I have such a wide selection. Gigantic Beater, 593, I want it. Another Beater, cannot be countered, trample hexproof, I want it. And I think I want these two. This one's a flyer. This one can be cast for cheaper. And I will have artifacts. So how much does that get me? 5. It gets me 5 creatures. I think I'm near my 40. 1, 2, 4. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Look at that. I'm 2 over. 2 over. And is there anything that I regret not having picked? This low-level flyer, I really wanted him. Now, do I have enough 1-drop? 1/1. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, so there's a fair number of cards in this deck that would be made unblockable by this dude. So I think I want him. I'll have to take something else out. I really wanted this flyer and I really wanted the mummy. Everything else I think I can live without. You guys can tell me in the comments if I messed up. If there's anything you see that would be a big mistake not to include. Okay. Really want these 2 in. I think I'm going to put them in. And then I'm going to go through. I think I need to get rid of what, 5? Sorry that I keep making these counts. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gotta get rid of 5 cards. Yeah. Maybe this one. Oh, I already have the mummy in. Yeah, I put it in. Never mind. It's nice to drop an extra land. It really is. And nice to have a mana dork. Nice to draw extra. I really like this card, but it has to be taken out. Again, I'm doing so many. I have so many what I think are really good cards. I'm not necessarily crazy about scrying. It's good, but This one also, it's nice. It's nice. I'm gonna say this one also. So I think I'm down to my 5, and I think everything else that I see I wanted to keep. Although the heart better? Yeah, I think the heart needs to go, and this guy needs to go, and I'm putting 2 more in that I took out, and then I'm going to do a count, and I think we're done, because I really want these 2 dudes in here. So just to give you guys an idea of what I took out, this is what I took out. These are the 5 that I took out, and then I'm going to do another count, and then I think we're done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're done.